So, welcome, Anne, and everybody. There's only Anne missing, isn't there? I think. We've just done some heart breathing and I forgot to record, so apologies. So, okay. One word to describe your week and one word to describe how you're feeling now we're approaching the end, because we've got one more week and one more session after this within the course itself. And it's like, what? After that? Why did we get to the end almost? It's gone, hasn't it? It's whizzed by at a rate of knots. So one word to describe your week and one word to describe how you're feeling about approaching the end, but being in this final week. So I'll give you a minute to think. And as you think, I shall unmute you all in preparation for sharing. And while you do, I'm going to have a taste of a tea that might be rather odd. Yes, odd is the word. Oh, that's peculiar. Okay, it only cost me 10 pence. It's loose leaf tea. But I thought I'm up for anything that cost me 10p. See what it's like. It's rooibos, mint leaves, cacao, and calendula flowers. So I thought, oh, it could be amazing or really disgusting. And I think it's closer to the really disgusting. And I'm not quite sure. I might have to I'll give it a go.
Put some brandy in it, Jill, that might help.
Oh, I like the idea of that. Who said that then?
I did.
We don't have any brandy. I've got some vodka. Yeah, everything's helped with alcohol or custard, depending on what you're trying to assist.
Custard. I like the idea of custard.
Oh, custard solves everything.
I could live on custard quite happily.
Oh, yeah.
So have you all got your words? Who wants to kick off? Louise. Fantastic.
Challenging is my week, and grateful for what I've achieved here.
Oh, and what do you believe you've achieved here?
I would say that it's the connection and that reminder with the group. I know I haven't been here for the last couple of weeks, but it's kind of like that, the connection, the fact that it's reminded me of some of the things that I know anyway, but I just sometimes need reminding. So I'm grateful.
Oh, thank you. And we're all the same. We're all human, you know. Sometimes I find myself in a one-to-one and I'm saying something and I go, oh, I've forgotten about that. You know, and it's like, oh, thank you. Kind of saying to myself, thank you to my client, whatever was coming up for them. And it's like, great. That was just the reminder that I needed. Because our busy lives and brains they file everything like that's not urgent, don't they? You know, sometimes. So we know all this stuff, but we're not always able to access it when we want to. Thank you, Louise. So who's next? Jan, hello.
Well, my word for this week is purposeful. My first instinct was chaotic, but then I thought, well, no, actually, I've been striving for different things, and so really, it's yeah. And for nearing the end, my word is calmer. I am calmer, even though I'm really not very good at doing very much. What I am doing and coming each week is really helping.
Oh, that's brilliant, Jan.
And family have noticed it.
Oh,
They
that's
have.
Yeah. they have.
Wow.
lovely. Yeah.
And that says such a lot, doesn't it? When others notice it and they comment,
Yeah.
because then even if you know that internally that you're feeling different and you're feeling calm and perhaps you're responding to things rather than reacting and so on, when someone else notices it and you get that external validation of like, wow, oh, it wasn't just in my mind, I wasn't just imagining this change. Oh, that's wonderful. Oh,
So, yeah.
that's brilliant. Thank you, Jan.
Okay.
Who's next? Helen.
The word for the week has changed within the last 2 minutes of sitting here and pondering. But I'm going to go with the word insightful.
Mm. Okay. And what has been so insightful? What insights have you had?
I think I shared with the group today my little kind of calendar thingy that I'm doing something, and that's quite insightful to kind of, it's really useful. And I've also just kind of had things pop into my mind. I think I'm a bit more, oh, why have I reacted that way? Or, wow, you've been really patient when previously I might have like been done for murder. Just things like that, you know, kind of not giving myself a hard time. Like I was walking down to the rowing club yesterday, kind of going for some training, and I'm like, oh my God, I've got nothing for myself. I've not done anything for myself today. So I tapped all the way from my front door to the front door of the thingy, and something came up, and I'm like, oh, this is really good. I'll tap on that later. And then, so I did something.
Brilliant.
And it's like, it's okay. It doesn't have to be at home in a wonderful, quiet environment, because I don't always have that.
Absolutely.
So I made the best of a really good situation.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Has anyone else been evident any tapping outside? So like you're not at home, you're kind of just tapping as you walk around, or tapping when you've gone for a walk or something. I have to say, it's so super powerful.
Oh my God, yes, I completely agree.
Beyond
Before I used to
anything.
tap sort of at home. By walking, I find technical terminology, I let go of shit.
Do you just do it on your hands, Helen, or because
No,
I
I do no, I mean, I don't go, you know, I'm not down a busy high street when I'm kind of doing all of this. No. But if it's a quiet street, I tend to just very surreptitiously kind of go through them all. But a lot of it is sort of here, or I actually, that's one thing I quite like. I mean, I love the gamut. And I love the whole thing. I know you've not taught that yet, but just to sit and do that, I had to do that the other day. I felt a little bit kind of like weird, and I'm like, oh, just sit on top of that, and that is really nice. So that was quite good. So yeah,
Thank you.
but yeah,
And
it's
your
fab.
word. Oh, sorry.
Oh, for a word for future.
Yeah.
I am gonna say curious.
Okay. Thank you, Helen.
Thank you.
Who wants to go next?
I don't mind going left. Were you going to go, Fran? Go on, you go.
Oh, no, you go, Pam. It's fine.
Okay. I've been sort of ruminating over what word, because it's been so stressful this last week and this last few weeks, and the stress isn't going to finish until probably months into the new year. But something I did realise was that I'm not although it is stressful, I'm able to get away from it in my head quite well by really going into the, like, really I've only been doing the heart breathing. I still haven't got the hang of the tapping, so it's mostly the heart breathing for me. And I'm thinking about the group really, and that there's so many other people out there being calm, and do you know what I mean? It's like that, come on, we can all do this. I can do it as well. And I have found that I've not been, because before I'd get really wound up, and it's basically, it's my son, he's got learning difficulties, but he's also a family, he's got a little girl, and they've got really difficult housing problems, him and his girlfriend, and I always go into the angry, defensive mother, you know, but this time I haven't done that, which I'm really pleased with myself about. I've been able to be there and say, you know, I'm here, whatever you need, I'm here for you, but not sort of go, come on, you've got to get this done, you've got to do that, you need to do this. Oh, God, now I've knocked my glass over, because that's what I usually do, is go into panic. But this week I've been able to go, okay, no, all right, you do what you do, and I'm here at the end of it, which is such a different reaction. Oops, everything's falling apart now. For me, but yeah, that's been a good thing. So
Fantastic. So what was the word that you chose in the end, Pam, for this week?
Oh, for the week, I think resilience.
Resilience.
Yeah,
That's brilliant. I love that word.
Yeah, I like that word actually.
Wonderful. And what about your word for now we're approaching the end?
Hopeful, really, because I'm hoping that we can carry it on in some way individually. I'm hoping I can carry it on individually, but I think probably there's going to be a lot of coming together. I mean, there's been for me a lot of different coming togethers of recently, you know, like-minded people and all that. So yeah, I feel quite hopeful.
Fantastic. I love that. Thank you, Pam.
Thank you.
And Fran.
The word for this week is breakthrough, because particularly with the tapping, I've actually begun to feel that it's a lot more natural to be able to adjust the script and not worry about so much what I'm doing or what I'm talking about. And it's just, I'm ad-libbing without knowing it. So I know. And it feels, and I've suspended all this idea of, oh, it has to be like this, I have to do it exactly as Jill said, and I'm just going with what I feel I need to be telling myself. So, but following the, you know, the guidance about the script, clearly. So yeah, breakthrough is the word for the week.
Fantastic.
And I sort of have two words for how I'm feeling about approaching the end, but they're two sides of the same coin. It's an equal amount of nervousness, but an equal amount of excitement, because I'm excited about taking flight with this once we finish, you know, and doing it, you know, taking flight is the only way I can describe it. But I'm also a little bit nervous about the little demon in my head saying, will you carry this on? You know, are you going to be carrying this on? But I know I will be. But yeah, so it's a mix of those two words.
Brilliant, brilliant. Oh, I love that on all accounts. So Jane, thank you, Fran.
Oh, that's fine.
Earlier in the week, I thought the word was release for this week, that I was able to do the tapping and feel the difference that it was making, yeah, quite profoundly. But the last 2 days, now that my daughter's been today found she's got a 5 centimetre lesion near her kidney, it's thrown me. And so now the word's emotional, because I've had a lot of crying last night and today. So so I don't know where you go with that.
Okay. So Jane, what I would say is when there is something really big, it's okay for all the big emotion to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's sitting with the emotion and noticing what it is, and it can really fully acknowledging it. So whether that's sadness or fear or whatever it is, the power of doing that, of sitting with it and being with yourself, with that emotion, and not pushing it away or thinking, that it's wrong or it's too much or anything. Just allowing it to be, allowing yourself to really feel it and getting comfortable with it will bring ease in itself. Just the sitting with it.
Yeah, I was just hoping against hope that they wouldn't find anything. That was all.
Absolutely. And it's clearly it's a really difficult time for you and for everyone else. So it's natural to have all these big emotions. And I know that now you've mentioned it, I know that everyone's going to be sending little bits of energy your way and her way. Yeah.
Thank you. And then looking back at the last 6 weeks or whatever, it's definitely been worthwhile. It's the community group feeling and how we sort of support each other within our little WhatsApp messages and things. And like Pam said about, we know that everybody's out there kind of thing. And I suppose with it coming to the end, you sort of think, oh dear, will we still be there for each other sort of thing? But hopefully we will.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. That's lovely. Thank you, Jane. So, Rika, I wanted to just, what we're going to do is kind of a bit of a mixed bag tonight. So I just want to check in with you all on how you found last week's quick techniques. Yeah, because I know some of you have mentioned that you've been using them, but I just wanted to see if anyone's got any questions or anything to share about using them. Then I'm going to share with you a very quick kind of, if I say process, it sounds really big and grand, but I suppose it's an easy word for it, called STOP. And it won't take us very long at all. And I'll put some info in that in the resource pack, which I still haven't finished. Okay, I still haven't finished. Sometimes I'm like, I sit down and I go, and it all just flies out my fingers. And I go, whoa, wasn't that marvelous? Well, just as if by magic, it was a little Ken Dodd moment, just as if by magic, just like that. And for a Scouser, that was a really bad Ken Dodd impersonation. Really bad. Actually, that was Tommy Cooper, wasn't it? Just like that. I went from Ken Dodd to Tommy Cooper in like one fell swoop, and you all understand. Okay, I will never make it on stage. That is clear. So, and it just hasn't this week. So kind of, and I was so tired at the weekend. I was just like, I have to do nothing. I have to just literally do nothing. By the time it came to Sunday. So you will get it, and there's nothing kind of that you have to implement like immediately or anything. Yeah. So it's kind of just a little few notes on what we did last week on those things, and I'll put the stop in and something else I'm going to talk about in just a moment. So, excuse me. Then I'm going to invite you to start your process of reviewing where you are. Now, you've kind of already started doing this because I asked you about how your word for as we're approaching the end, and each of you has kind of already said bits and pieces about where you are now. So I'm going to give you some questions to think about, and I will put those in the pack so that you can think about them over this next week. Because where are we? Okay, so I will later, I'll probably send them tomorrow, but you won't actually have to action it. Remember at the beginning, we did the outcome measures. Well, I'm going to ask you to do the outcome measures again. Yeah, so we can just, you might notice yourself, you can have a look at what you did at the beginning and where you are now. And obviously I will have a look at what kind of your scores, so to speak, have shifted. I think some of you might be quite surprised at how things have changed, because you've actually been doing an awful lot more than you probably give yourself credit for, and how that influences how we feel and what we believe about ourselves. So I'm going to send that through, but you won't need to do it until next weekend or next Monday. So just before the final group session. Yeah. So kind of you've got your full 8 weeks then. Yeah. Okay. And then all being well, we'll have a bit of time for some tapping. Sound good? Bit of tapping time. Okay. All right, my lovelies. So last week's exercises we had, where's my note? What have I done with those? Okay. Okay, what have I done? Oh, there they are. So we did eyes to elbows. We did sedation. So eyes to elbows was the, oh, not that one, that one. We did sedation, the triple warmer, which was that, oh, that lovely one. Yeah. Oh, let's do that now, sedation, the triple warmer. Oh, it's so nice, isn't it? Okay. So hand onto the opposite temple, around the ear, down, and then off the little finger. Oh. Oh, and then we do the other side. Oh, oh, it feels nice. Okay. Then we did the triple warmer smoothie, which is kind of where we do it with 2 hands, and then we hang off the shoulder and then kind of dig into the shoulder and come down. Oh. And then just rest our hands on the heart space and take a breath. And then we did the gamut point tapping. So I'm remembering that the gamut point tapping is in that little space between the metatarsals or the metacarpals. I never get it right.
Tarsals.
What?
Tarsals.
Tarsals. Thank you, Fran. Thank you. Metatarsals. It's a fantastic word, isn't it? Metatarsals.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So thumbs up if you've used all 4 of them. I didn't think there would be. Thumbs up if you've used 3 out of the 4. Oh,
Oh, hang on.
brilliant.
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thumbs up if you don't use 2 out of the 4. Well done. Thumbs up if you've done 1 out of the 4. Okay. Thumbs down if you did none out of the 4. That was just for a bit of fun. So well done to those who have used some of the techniques. Which is your favourite? That's what I'd like to know. Fran?
Mine's eyes to elbow.
Mm.
I just don't fail to yawn. And it feels so releasing. And at one point I was yawning and tears were coming out. So it's definitely releasing something. It's amazing.
Fantastic, brilliant.
Yeah, I like that one too, because you can do it laying down or sitting in your chair, and you really feel it release.
Oh, that's lovely, brilliant. Oh, I'm really glad that you both like that.
I like that too. I like both that and the gamut, really. But I did the eyes to elbows in the dentist without the elbows.
Yeah.
I just did it. I thought, yeah, I don't know. It just came over me to do it, and I did it. So, and it
Does it feel like it helped?
Yeah, definitely.
Good, good. He's what's his name? Oh, whatever his name, Stanley Rosenberg, whatever it is. He talks in the book. He talks about where the fingers are in contact with the cranium. The the having the connection with the vagus nerve, and like almost like if you're really good at noticing energy, you can almost like feel the skull shift just ever so slightly. But I think there are things, it's like we do, like there are other techniques with IQs where you're moving your eyes in certain directions, like the full 9 gamma, for example, where your hands aren't there. So it's kind of like it has to work on some level, you know? So yeah, I love that you improvised and you just kind of like thought, yeah, I'm going to do a bit of this.
I was just waiting to go in, so I thought, oh, I don't know, it just came over me to do it, so I did.
Oh, fantastic.
I do like the others. I've got such bad memory problems that I've got reminders everywhere for things. I just can't, So that's what I'm going to work on this week with the, I love the, the list. See, I've forgotten her name. I know her face.
Helen.
Helen.
Helen. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I went to say a different name. That's what I really was. Yeah. So, and I just think, just use whatever I can to make it work.
Absolutely. That's the whole point of all of this. It's like, well, a large part of it is like, yes, let's get a daily practice in place, but also you've got so many tools you can't put all of them in as your daily practice. You choose the ones that are really going to support you. But then you've got all these other bits to call upon, as and when you need them or remember them. Yeah, so it's brilliant. Oh, well done, Jan. That's great. Anybody
Jill,
else?
sorry, could I just ask the gamut thing? I didn't do any of that, and I can't remember what we were. I know where it is, but what were we supposed to do? Just tap on whatever we were thinking of, whatever our issue was.
Okay, you can do it like that. The gamut is really good if we're feeling fearful in any way. It's especially good with fear. And if you think about worry is a form of fear. It's in us because we have all these words, don't we, that ultimately mean the same thing. So when we think about, people say, oh, I'm concerned, or I'm worried, or I'm fretful, they all mean I'm scared at one level or another. And the gamut point goes direct. It works through the triple warmer, which when we're doing the triple warmer smoothie, because it's working on that same meridian, and it's essentially sending messages direct to the amygdala to say you're safe. So if you've got something really big going on, like you've got this situation with your daughter, and there'll be a lot of stress and cortisol, like the actual cortisol and so on running through your system, you can just be tapping on the 9 gamut, just breathe and tap, and just be saying, and even better, if you put your hand on your heart space and then tap on the gamut while your hand's on your heart space. And then as you're tapping, you can just breathe. I'm safe in this body. You could all do this now. I'm safe.
It froze for a moment, so I didn't quite hear what you said.
Okay, so put your hand on your heart space, find the gamut point, tap on the gamut point while your hand is on your heart space. Take a breath. And just say, I'm safe in this body. I'm safe here and now. I'm safe in this body. I'm safe here and now. I'm safe in this body. I'm safe here and now. Just stop tapping and take a breath. And just notice what that's like for you now, just that teeny little bit of gamut tapping. Just what the body's like. Just what maybe the thoughts are like. Yeah. I think Jan and Pam, we'll have to call you back before you fall asleep because you looked so serene. We're like two little angels, just like, oh, I'm so blissful on my cloud. Did that
Thank you.
answer? How's that, Jane?
Yes, thank you for that. Yes, that's
Yeah.
good. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so it sounds like you've had some really good successes with having a go at things. So that's brilliant. So what I'm gonna, is there any final questions on what we did last week?
No, but I can add a funny thing with the
Yeah.
elbow thing. I've done
Yeah.
a different variation, but I quite like that one even more, because what I tend to sometimes do is I use it when I go in the ice cold water, and then I find that my body wants to go into shock, and I'm trying to regulate myself. I do that.
Brilliant. And what do you
Bram,
notice?
that's a really good suggestion. Bram.
Yes, yeah, good idea, Helen.
And what did you notice, Helen?
Well, I noticed that it got my breath, sort of, I stopped kind of flapping, knowing that I needed to get myself under control. I don't like saying under control, but I know what you mean. It's a stressful situation as it is, and I don't want it to be stressful. I want it to be good for me. So doing that actually regulates me as I go in.
I think you need to share that with all your swimmer friends.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let them into the secret.
I will do that.
Brilliant. Oh,
You can
look,
always come down and show us, Jill.
I'll show you, but I shan't be swimming. That is for definite. No amount of eyes to elbows tapping or anything else will get me in cold water. Not even in the, well, just about in the height of summer, but definitely behind the window. I look out my window and I see Helen a lot of the times because she has this bobble hat on, and I recognise her and her long hair trailers and a thing. And sometimes I look out and I just go, "You mad bugger." And I kind of like take my hat off, but there's another part of me going, I can't believe you're all doing that. Even when we had like yesterday, we actually had some snow on the beach, only a little bit, but that shows you how cold it was, because you just don't get it at the seaside, do you? And on bits of the prom and that, and I saw kind of like 9 a.m. I saw at least a dozen people in the sea. No, I just look at you and kind of laugh. My hat's off to you all for doing it. Bloody marvellous. Saves me doing it. Right, so we're sorted with that. I'll keep moving my cup of my awful tea. Let's move it out of the way. Stop. Now, this can be really, really helpful when you get yourself into that. It might be something you're doing, it might be something you're thinking that isn't helpful. Especially when, like, we've got Christmas coming up, haven't we? So there's a lot of well-practiced reactions and behaviors around Christmas, and a lot of expectation. And even if we kind of go, oh, it's no big deal, I'm not really doing too much, there's the collective energy around Christmas kind of has everyone's nervous system just a little bit like higher up, just because of the collective. Even if you kind of like, yeah, I've got it all under control, and it's fine, it's just another day type of thing. So in the run up for Christmas, this can be really helpful, but it's a really helpful thing at any point. I don't think I've taught you about this. I know I haven't included it in any other things. any of the packs. So what I want you to imagine is one of those big red buttons, like you might see in an industrial kitchen or a factory, you know, like a big red button, like red and yellow sort of thing, and it'll say stop. And you have to like push your hand in really hard, and like all the machinery will stop. A bit like the ones you get on a treadmill, you know, things like that. Sort of like you're meant to push, save you flying off the back end if you start going too fast. So I want you just now to visualize this big red or yellow button, because they all seem to be red or yellow. They're often red, maybe with yellow writing on it, and to say stop. Yeah. And I want you now to imagine yourself pushing your hand out onto it and saying stop really loud to yourself. You can say it out loud if you want, but you can say it just in your head, just like stop. Just practice that, like stop, stop, stop. Like you're pushing that button in, like there's loads of buttons and you're just going to push them all to tell them to stop. You know what that feels like now. I don't need to push that button in and stop everything. Yeah. So the beautiful thing about stop and about that image that you've got there now, yeah, stop is an acronym for this really quick process. And we can use it in kind of in those moments where everything's kind of running away with us. Do you know what I mean? And kind of maybe our thoughts or our emotions are running away. Let's just stop. The S is the stop. I'm going to give you info on this, so don't worry about writing down. The T is to take a step back. Now, sometimes that might be a physical step back or a step away, yeah, from a situation, or it might just be a metaphorical step back away from something, yeah. You can even kind of imagine it like you're stepping back and kind of looking down onto, so as you do, you're coming away from the situation. So you're going to go and observe it, yeah? So you stop, you take that step back, whether it's actual or just imaginary, yeah? And then the O is you go into your observing self. So this is where you kind of might feel like you've taken a step back and maybe you're just looking down on the situation. You're looking down on you first and foremost. And you get to ask yourself, what am I feeling? What am I thinking? What am I believing? What am I doing in this situation? Yeah. Now, if it's an interaction with others, that can be really powerful because you can suddenly go, oh my God, I'm doing that thing. That really, I said, I'm not going to teach myself, and it might be just saying yes all the time, or it might be kind of getting into that pattern of argument with someone or something, or whatever the thing is. It can be very useful with children and siblings. Many clients over the years gone, oh my God, that stopped me arguing with my teenager. And, oh God, that really meant that me and my brother didn't come to loggerheads, in the way that we had, because I was the one that stopped, took a step back, started observing where I was within this. Yeah. And then once you do that, once you've gone into your observing self, and you might even like to imagine you're high up and you're looking down on things, you could even imagine you're looking down kind of like through a lens, yeah, or through watching it on the TV, which takes you even more steps away from the situation, yeah, where we get a lot more clarity then. And then once you're into your observing self, the P means you get to practice emotional intelligence, which means you get to choose what's going to help. You get to choose how you might want to respond to yourself and how you want to respond to if it's a situation that you're in. Yeah. So sometimes this is just going to be with ourselves, because we might have those kind of, the thoughts have just gone spiraling. Yeah. I might be doing that. Stop, take a step back. Okay, where am I within all of this? You know, what am I feeling? What am I doing? You know, what am I believing about myself or whatever this situation that I'm in, you know, I feel like I'm in. Yeah. Okay. And notice where I am now. So now I've noticed where I am and how it is for me. I can notice how I'm feeling and what I'm believing about me or the situation, how that is perpetuating what I'm doing. Yeah. So we get that clarity and that awareness, and then we get to choose. Yeah, because we've always got choice. So when we've got that clarity, and in that process, it's kind of we're bringing in our cognitive function, which means the emotional brain is calming down a little bit. Yeah. So the executive function, our rational brain is going, right, okay, let's make some order of this. And the emotional brain is a bit like, oh, okay, someone else has taken charge. Thank God, just for a little bit, I'm off the hook. Yeah. So all starts to de-escalate. So then you get to choose, okay, in this moment, I'm going to do some eyes to elbows, or I'm going to just stop and take myself off and do some tapping. Yeah. Or I'm just going to sit here, my hand on my heart space, and just do some heart breathing, because 10 breaths and I could be back to regulation. Yeah. Or maybe I'm going to go for a walk and do some tapping. Maybe whatever it is you're going to do. In the busyness of Christmas, it might even be, I'm going to stop and have a cup of tea and something to eat. Because it's all right. Doesn't matter if everything takes another 15 minutes, you know, or things get finished another, because I'm going to feel so much better just for stopping, just for coming back into myself. Yeah. It's so powerful. And I've seen such amazing results from it over the years. It's one of the tools when I was, I trained in something called fusion therapeutic coaching. And it's one of the tools that she taught us. And it's just, yeah, it's so simple. You kind of go, oh yeah, well, I kind of knew that, or I do that, but to have it that stop, and especially that image of the big red button, that alone is really powerful, just to say to yourself, stop, stop, stop. And if you say it out loud, wow, that's got real impact. Yeah, even just saying that then, I was saying that for emphasis, I can feel that shift in my body. Yeah. So, yeah, have fun with it, really, like everything, you know, and explore and just have a little go at it. And if you've got something, maybe there's a person to appropriately share it with, who might feel, actually, that's really, really helpful. And their stop and take a step back might be the cue to just sit down, have a glass of water, you know, just take a breath, whatever that thing is. Yeah. All right. Fantastic. Any questions about that?
Can I make a comment? Because when I teach, we show a video of an angry man that lasts 90 seconds, and it says this is how much time it could take for you to take a step back.
Nice.
That's quite good.
Yeah, I like that, Louise. Thank you. So, okay. Review time. And I am going to put this in the resource pack as I said, to start the process of you thinking about where you were and where you are now, so that when we come to our final session together, you've already got that, you've started the ball rolling. Yeah, because it's about review, about where you are, and it's also about moving forward, how you're going to support yourself. Okay. And Helen's like countdown, like, or tick off sort of thing that so many of you love, I've already got something that's kind of in a way similar sort of thing, but I'm going to share with you, so I think you'll like anyway. So it's something that you'll be able to print off and just use as like a monthly tracker type of thing. Okay, so my lovelies, questions. I want you to cast your mind back to the 1st of November when we first met. Yeah. So just allow your mind to go all the way back to that point. So if you're thinking about the end of October, beginning of November, and where you were, what was life like for you? Just kind of step back into you, that version of you then. Take a step into that version of you. As you take a step back into that previous version of you, I just want you to notice how you were feeling emotionally. What kind of emotions were coming up? How big were they? What was it like when all these big emotions came up? Or maybe nothing was coming up and you were just keeping them all pushed down and out of the way. So just notice that old version of yourself. There's all the emotional aspects to her. Now just starting to notice how you're reacting to the things that are happening in your life. Maybe the daily stresses, maybe certain people or certain situations. Maybe it's even how you're reacting to yourself. As you notice yourself reacting on autopilot, perhaps, to those people and situations or to yourself, I want you to notice what you're believing about yourself or your situation. As you start noticing the beliefs that you're having about yourself or your situation, all the thoughts that are perhaps swirling around, start to notice what that's like in your physical body. As you're there at that time, what was going on in your physical body? And as you notice what's going on in your physical body, now start noticing what your energy is like, your spiritual energy is like. Were you noticing it? Maybe you were oblivious to it. And as you're noticing your spiritual energy, just noticing now everything else that you notice. your emotions, about your physical self, what you were doing, what you were believing, what you were thinking. Just notice how you were supporting yourself. Maybe you were, maybe you weren't. Maybe it was consistent, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was helpful. Maybe it was more of a hindrance. And notice what else. Was it caring? What else you were feeling or believing or doing or not doing? Once you've noticed everything there is to notice, you want to just make some notes. Jot down what you've noticed. I'll give you a few more minutes. I'm going to give you 1 more minute. So just bringing yourself back, maybe just jot some words down to help you remember if you're still in the middle of writing. What was that like to look back? Anyone surprised?
Mm.
Yeah.
Definitely.
What was it? What's so surprising, Jan?
How much I can remember. No, I think when I was looking through my emails earlier on, and I thought, wow, that's happened and that's happened, and I sort of, it showed me a little bit of how long ago it was, kind of thing, in events, or nothing big. But no, I just so when I started, I was, will I fail? Am I worth it? Is the time and the money? Will I meet my own needs, or will I try and be a good student? Sort of thing. It's a bit of a habit in mine. But I actually think now I am being kind to myself. I'm more compassionate, and that's really working. I generally feel less scared. I'm slightly more emotional because I've got a bit of a block emotionally, but I am feeling a bit more emotional, and I do feel more connected to my spiritual self again, which had been blocked for a while. And I was, and I'm definitely less. I should do this or should do that. That's gone. The first week I sat here and I looked up and I thought, that's messy. I deserve something nice to look at. And I don't normally take any notice of my surroundings. So that was just after the first week. So, yeah, it's definitely had an impact.
Oh, sounds like it's had a huge impact, Jan.
Yeah. I think I was ready, I was just making the decision to do it is part of it, isn't it? That's, but I was, so I was, it was there and it worked. So thank you. I'm sorry I've gone on quite long.
No, it's beautiful. Thank you for all that sharing from your heart, Jan. It's because, it's fantastic. And I'm so happy for you. I really am. Wonderful. It really is. Anybody else want to share what it's like to look back? Louise?
It's something that was quite interesting. At that point, my son had gone away for 3 weeks, so I had an opportunity to get things done. I also had a friend that was very unwell with COVID, which was unfortunate because we'd hoped to meet up during the time that my son was away. And I remember the sort of frustration but determination at the same time, but also degrees of exhaustion that I just thought I need a break. And of course I did have a break from my son going away, although of course then I worried about him. And and I did feel sort of, it was mixed emotions really, and yeah, but it wasn't a normal world for me, because I was suddenly on my own for 3 weeks, which was heaven in many ways.
Yeah. And how's that different to now?
Well, I mean, my life is different now. I've got my 2 cats. I mean, you probably saw one of them going across. I'm actually sitting in the cat room at the moment. I feel I've dealt with some very difficult people in the last couple of weeks. And the difference I've had is that I would say that the way I'm protecting myself is better. And when people write nasty things in my reviews, which happens occasionally, I just think, well, it's not about me, it's about you, and it's fine. Let it go. It's fine, it's no problem. Whereas I used to think, oh my goodness, what could I have done different? And I realized it was actually not me, it was them.
That's lovely to have recognised that it's not your stuff, it's theirs.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great, Louise. Thank you. Yeah. Who else would like to share? Jane.
At first, I wasn't sure, a bit like Jan, whether it was the right thing to join the course, and I was a little sort of negative about it all. And at the time, I think I was a bit out of control, really. I wasn't giving myself time, and I just certainly didn't think it was worth spending any money on myself. But I was always worrying about my children, micromanaging them, and that I couldn't do anything to improve the situation. They're all very negative, all this. But I think those have all turned around to the opposite. And actually at the beginning, I didn't notice energy. I think I remember thinking, energy, what's energy? But now I can feel it and feel the difference. And yeah, so yeah, it's been very positive. Thank you.
Oh, that's really wonderful, Jane. It really is. Such a huge turnaround.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Mm.
Who else would like to share? Fran. Oh, I'll put you on mute. Let me unmute you. There you go.
Thank you. When Helen told me about some of the courses you'd run, it was so almost prophetic in a way, because the next week you advertised about the Karma U course, and I just thought, oh my gosh, that's speaking to me. Something's telling me this is the time to face the things that I'm feeling I need to face, really. So yeah, that was a really good starting point for me. I think I came to the course feeling quite vulnerable about myself and where I sat in the world. And that's all I'd known about how I am. But I've found over the weeks, I've learned so many different things about me, and I've learned so many different ways to give true self-care to me that I suppose gave lip service to before. You know, everyone says, oh, I'm good at self-care, but I don't think I have been up until now. And it's not just the obvious things that one thinks about the term self-care. It's really subtle things. So I'm just feeling much more certain about myself. I feel in a really good place. I feel calmer, and I'm not as judgmental about myself. And I was usually quite a critic all the time. I had the critical voice all the time. And don't get me wrong, I still do get it. But for example, I made an error with the metatarsals, it's metacarpals. And normally I'd be really beating myself up thinking they must think I'm terrible, blah, blah, blah. But I just thought, oh, well, who cares? So for me, that's a big thing.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So I've taken so much from it, and I've learned so many different techniques that I know that I've got a really powerful toolbox. So yeah, I just feel much more balanced and more at ease with myself, really, and more accepting of myself than I had previously been. So thank you.
Oh, thank you for sharing, Fran. Thank you.
All right,
So
pleasure.
happy to hear all of that.
Pleasure.
Yeah. Anybody else? It's quite okay if you don't wish to. I'm just giving people opportunity to reflect and to have their successes, their journey shared with everybody and supported. Oh, Helen's unmuted, so she's going to say something.
Yeah, I just I was unsure whether I was going to join this or not, because I kind of know a lot of this, but just knowing and not using is like, so in one way, what's the point? So I kind of used this, and I think that's why I joined, to kind of just bring myself back to me, kind of going, well, you know this stuff, but you don't. But I have learned extra stuff here. And some of the simplest techniques I find sometimes so profound, like the energy clearing. I do that every night now, releasing anything that doesn't belong to me. It's just such a short thing, but yet such a profound thing. So I think that's what it sort of brought me back to. Yeah, Helen, just, you know how important this is to do. So just sort of carry on. There's I kind of learned it in the last week. I'll just pass it on. It's really funny. I was listening to an interview with Brad Yates and the woman who taught me EFT. And he said, think of if stress smelt. So if you haven't had a shower for a whole week, you would start to pong, and therefore you have a shower. Whereas if stress had a smell, then after a while you'd go, oh God, I need to do some self tapping or whatever else. And I thought that was such a good analogy.
Very much.
And that's what I think of myself now. It's like, Helen, do this daily. You know, you clean your teeth daily. We always use that as an analogy, but that's really stuck with me. So that's what I'm gonna not wait until I absolutely honk. I want to do self-care daily in whatever format that is.
Yeah. Fantastic. I love that. Don't let yourself get to the pongy point.
Exactly.
That's really powerful.
We're all going to be going around and go, how pongy am I today? Oh yeah. Or about an 8. Or might need to have a tapping shower. Oh, brilliant. Thank you, Helen. I'm really happy to hear all that you've shared. Thank you. So there's only Pam. Did you want to say anything or stay quiet?
No, just I haven't got a lot to say. I did start this course. It was, someone else said it's like what they've been looking for, I think, and that's how I felt about it. I was like really excited, and I still am excited about it. I was a bit fearful about it being the evening sessions, actually, because I don't ever do anything in the evening, so I was a bit sort of, will I manage doing evenings? But I've been all right. The differences now from before, the thing that comes up for me is that I do feel as though generally now I've got more of that inner calmness, not all the time, but I'm noticing it in times when before I would have got stressed. Now I'm finding out to walk away from it, you know, not involve myself, and being less judgmental towards myself. That's something that I have noticed as well, because that was really bad before, but that has definitely improved. So yeah, I'm just really glad to have taken part in all these things. It's been like every week, oh my God, there's more, oh my God, there's more. I mean, I already knew a bit as well myself, but I've been like, oh, flipping it. So yeah, it's been good, but yeah, I can definitely feel a difference in myself.
That's fantastic, Pam. Thank you. Thank you. Really glad to hear everybody's stories, and it's so nice to hear that how each of you have changed and grown and shifted and cleared and healed, you know, because you've actually been healing parts of you that have been in so much pain because they were cast out, you know, they weren't allowed to be. because you had to be perfect, or you had to be this way, or you had to be another way, you know. And so this, in many ways, is shadow work. It's most fundamental, you know. You're welcoming home all those parts of you that you used to reject. So it's beautiful. Thank you. Oh, big hug, big hug. Big hug for all of you. Ooh, 35 minutes. Yes, we've got tapping time. How fabulous is that? So, so tap, tap, tap. Now, you can tap on whatever topic you'd like to tap on. But I would, I suppose, suggest that if you're already working through something, perhaps continue with that. If you've got any kind of fear or worries or trepidation about coming to the end and continuing with the self-loving practice and looking after yourself and so on, then that would be a good topic to work on. Or if you've got something else that is very present for you right now, then you could also work on that. So I'm just going to give you a minute or two just to think about, what am I going to work on? So just, if it hasn't come instantly, then just sit and drop into the body and just notice what you're feeling. What you're believing. Drop down into the body. Notice the emotions. Notice what the beliefs are that are attached to them. Maybe there's fears as well. Notice what number it is out of 10. 10's the most intense. 0 is it's not there at all. Notice where it is in the body, where you're holding it. Wherever it is it inside or outside? Is it big or small? Hard or soft? Is it dark or light? Is it heavy or light in weight? When you noticed all that there is to notice, emotion, belief, any fears, the number, where it is, what it's like. You might have all of that, or you might have just some of those. Even if all you had was an emotion and what it's about and a number, that would be enough. When you've got all that, just bring yourself back. Open your eyes so I know that you're ready. Helen's yawning already. She's only tuned into her energy. Good. So you've got some water there, my lovelies. Have some water. I have come with not enough, so I'm going to have to slurp this awful tea. You know what it's like? It's like somebody swept all the shavings from 4 different teas together and just went, oh, go on, we'll flog that. Some idiot will buy it. It's not horrible. It's kind of just nothing, you know, it's like, yeah, I think they're all kind of competing with themselves. There was a shop on the seafront months ago and they were closing down, and she had all these different loose teas in these little bags, probably, I don't know how big, they're only tiny sort of thing, but you've probably got like 5 cups of tea out of each one. They're all loose leaf and organic, but all really random varieties, and they were 10p each. And I said, why have you got all these? And she said, oh, well, it was when I was stocking the shop, or rather the teas for the shop. She said I had to buy all of these samples, and and they cost me £1 each when I bought them. She said, but I just need to get everything gone because the shop's closing tomorrow and they're 10p each. So I thought I'll have a go at that one, that one, that one, and that one. And that's the first one that I've tried, and I'm just like, okay, the others aren't going to be so good, and maybe. But for 10p, you know, you kind of don't care in a way, do you? Maybe I'll get used to it. I'll give it one more go. Oh, I feel like I've got bits. Sure, it's something on that scarf I was wearing. Okay. So you've all got the emotion.
Yeah.
You got what you're believing about it or thinking about it. You've got a number. Yeah. You know what it's all about, and you've got it nice and specific, like right in. Okay. And you've noticed maybe where you're holding it in the body. Maybe you've noticed what that's like where you're holding it in the body. Okay. Fantastic. Okay, we're good to start. So I'm going to tap along with one person, and I can't remember who I've worked with and who I haven't. So, but it would be nice for someone who hasn't worked one-to-one with me before, perhaps to get an experience of that. But it doesn't have to be. I'm just putting that out there, because you can self-select. Yeah, but I can't remember who's. Yeah. Don't know, for the life of me, the memory isn't working on that front today, on who I've done one-to-ones with in this space. So, oh, was that Jan saying yes, please?
Yeah, really.
Yes, Jan, you put yourself forward. I love that, because I know you're often a bit, I just sit here.
Yeah.
I put myself forward. Well done, Jan. See, now that is a huge difference, isn't it?
Yeah, I promised myself I would. I don't want to. I'm really trying to think, but I know.
Stay here tonight.
Even better that you don't want to, but you kind of pushed yourself forward to do it.
If someone else would love to, then please do.
No, it's you in the hot seat, so I'm going to mute everybody else. You're in the seat of change, Jan. This is it now. It's like, oh yeah, Jan's in the seat of change. I feel like I want like drum roll, cymbals. Oh, fantastic. Can I move people around on this? Oh, can't. Cannot move a video while people are pinned. Okay, so I'm pinned. Remove pin. Oh. Oh, there we go. Now I'm going to. Oh God, no! Stop doing that, please. There you go. I'm talking to. That wasn't. I'm talking to Zoom. It's just this tiny slight change, and I keep, like, since I've got this new computer, and I don't know whether like Zoom has updated as well, or whether it's just Zoom, I don't know, doing its thing. But I'm sure something's changed, and I can't quite work out what it is. So, Jan, my lovely, the thing that you're going to work on, is it something you want to share a little tiny bit about, or do you want to keep it content free?
No, it's I mean, I hope it's all right. It's just that I'm anxious that I won't carry on, that I'll just get busy and buried and forget things and not make the time. Well, I started writing, I won't make the time. I'm worried that I won't take the time.
I won't make the time. Okay.
Yeah, I have got the time. It's about taking the time. I know I'll struggle with it and stuff, but I want to carry on.
Okay. So even you've identified, I won't make the time, but you've got it. But I won't take the time. Yeah. So they're both present and active. Okay. And sometimes they can kind of compete against themselves.
Right.
So you get a conflict, which you get into an impasse. Yeah. It's like you want something, but you don't want something at the same time, kind of thing. So that worry, which we know is a form of fear. Yeah. So that worry, what number is I won't make the time for myself?
7.
And what number is I won't take the time for myself?
9.
Okay. What do you feel will happen if you don't take the time for yourself?
My life will deteriorate.
And what number is that fear that my life will deteriorate?
10.
What do you feel will happen if your life deteriorates?
No, I just won't move forward.
And what number is the fear that I won't move forward?
8.
What do you feel will happen if you don't move forward?
'It's difficult. I just won't, I won't be living. I won't be having a functional life.
Okay. So were you thinking that then, or feeling that then?
That's feeling, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I won't have a normal life,
Useful life.
useful life.
Yeah.
And what number is the fear that I won't have a useful life?
Yeah. And I won't be able to support people.
Okay. So what number is I won't have a useful life?
9.
What number is I won't be able to support people? 'The fear that I won't be able to support people.
7.
What do you feel will happen if you're not able to have a useful life and support people?
I guess I don't know. I won't exist as such.
What number is the fear that I won't exist?
9.
What do you feel will happen if you don't exist?
Just everyone else will be worrying about me then.
I'll be a burden to everybody else.
Yeah,
Does that feel right?
yeah.
What number is I'll be a burden to everyone else?
9.
And what do you believe will happen if you're a burden to everyone else?
I just don't want to be.
What do you believe will happen if you're a burden to everyone else?
I suppose that they won't love me.
What number is the fear that they won't love me?
8.
Brilliant. What do you feel will happen if they don't love you?
I'll be alone.
Yeah. And what number's that fear that I'll be alone?
7.
What are you noticing there, Jan?
I don't know. I was just thinking because I quite like being alone.
So you, as an adult, a human, like being alone is very different
Yeah.
to your child self who existentially fears being alone.
Yeah. That's my little distracting brain, isn't it? I think it does that, distract me.
And it's okay. It's okay. It's trying to protect you, to keep you safe
Yeah.
from feeling sad, from feeling big emotions, from feeling alone and of no use. Yeah, of not existing. All right, my lovely. So everybody, okay, just to remember the drill, you will you will be fascinated by what Jan and I are saying, guaranteed, no doubt about it, okay? So you know where you are to begin with, yeah? You've noticed that Helen, you're really good at going, oh, I just changed my time myself, changed where I am 5 times, but you know where you were to begin with, yes? Yeah, so everybody's got that. So regardless of where you get drawn off to, regardless of how much you're listening to what we're doing, you're still, just by the fact of tapping and you've already tuned into what your thing is, you're going to be shifting and clearing, yeah? So when you find yourself wandering, just bring you to go, oh, there's my thing, yeah? That's my thing that I'm working on, okay? And just keep tapping, okay? So what I'm going to do a really long setup statement with Jan, but you can all just do whatever setup statement feels right for you to do. Remember, it's even though I feel whatever it is you're feeling, because, and then whatever it is, because I'll be okay. Yeah. So that's your little framework, recipe. Okay, Jan, so we're tapping together now. And even though I've got all these worries and fears,
I've got all these worries and fears,
that I won't make the time for myself.
that I won't make the time for myself.
I definitely won't take the time for myself
And I definitely won't take the time for myself
once the course is finished.
once the course is finished.
I'm really afraid
I'm really afraid
that my life will deteriorate
that my life will deteriorate
and I won't move forward
and I won't move forward
and I won't have a useful life
and I won't have a useful life
or be able to support anyone else.
or be able to support anyone else.
And if I can't be useful and support other people,
If I can't be useful and support other people,
I just won't exist.
I just won't exist.
Yeah, I'll be a burden to everyone else.
I'll be a burden to everyone else.
They won't love me,
They won't love me,
and I'll be all alone.
and I'll be all alone.
Did anyone in your family, Jan, say the kind of phrase, "Oh, you're neither use nor ornament"?
Not really. I've heard it, but I can't think where. Such waste of space.
Waste of space. Yeah. Who used to say you were a waste of space?
I don't know. I don't know that it was ever said about me or to me necessarily.
It doesn't necessarily have to be. Remember the mirror neurons? And if we hear someone saying it about other people, then we can take that down as our own.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Even though I've got all these fears,
got all these fears,
and I believe all of this to be true,
I feel all of this to be true. I believe all of this to be true.
I'll be okay.
I'll be okay.
And even though
I've
got all these worries,
all these worries,
I won't make time for myself.
I won't make time for myself.
I certainly won't take time for myself.
I certainly won't take time for myself.
Once the course is finished.
Once the course is finished.
So nothing will happen.
Then nothing will happen.
Everything will get worse.
Everything will get worse.
I won't exist.
I won't exist.
I'll be unloved.
I'll be unloved.
And I'll be alone.
And I'll be alone.
All because
All because
I didn't take the time for myself.
I didn't take the time for myself.
And even though
And even though
I believe all of this to be true,
I believe all of this to be true,
accept that this is how it is right now.
except that this is how it is right now.
And I know I'll be okay.
And I know I'll be okay.
Yeah, top of the head. I'm not going to make or take time for myself.
I'm not going to make or take time for myself.
So I won't exist.
I won't exist.
I'm not going to make or take time for myself.
I'm not going to make or take time for myself.
So I won't be useful.
I won't be useful.
I'm not going to make or take time for myself.
I'm not going to make or take time for myself.
So I'll just be a burden.
I'll just be a burden.
I'm not going to make or take time for myself.
I'm not gonna
Under
make
the
or
eye
take-
now. That's it. Under the eye now, love.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I need to. Yeah. Okay. It's all right. I'm just about to see it. It's my screen. Under the nose. I'll be all alone
I'll be all alone
and unloved
and unloved.
just because I didn't take time for myself.
Just because I didn't take time for myself.
I don't deserve any of this time for myself.
I don't deserve any of this time for myself.
What numbers I don't deserve this time for myself?
9.
Yeah. Who said I don't deserve this time?
I don't know.
I'm going to go under the collarbone now. Even though
Even though
I've got all these fears,
I've got all these fears,
I won't exist
I won't exist.
and I'll be alone
And I'll be alone
and unloved
and unloved.
because I didn't take the time for myself.
Because I didn't take the time for myself.
I know I'll be okay.
I know I'll be okay.
Under the arm. I don't deserve time for myself.
I don't deserve time for myself.
So I'm not going to take time for myself.
So I'm not going to take time for myself.
I have to look after everybody else into the thumb.
I have to look after everybody else.
Can't look after me.
Can't look after me.
First. Next one down, it's selfish to look after me.
It's selfish to look after me.
What number is it selfish?
6. So what's come up is that something might happen.
Something might happen if you take time for you.
Yeah. If
What
I'm
might
not,
happen?
if I'm not alert, if I'm not on guard.
What number is that, Pam?
Something might happen. No.
No, okay. I'm really afraid.
I'm really afraid.
Let's go back to the side. That something might happen
I thought it might happen.
if I'm not alert and on guard.
I'm not alert and on guard.
And if I'm looking after myself,
And if I'm looking after myself,
taking time for myself,
taking time for myself,
then I'm not alert and on guard.
and I'm not alert and on guard,
There's something's going to happen.
what's going to happen?
Something bad's going to happen.
Something bad's going to happen.
Yeah. And at the end of it all,
And at the end of it all,
I'll be a burden,
I'll be a burden,
unloved,
unloved,
and all alone.
and all alone,
Just because I took time for myself
just because I took time for myself
and I wasn't alert and on guard.
and I wasn't alert and on guard.
Yeah. I know I'll be okay,
I'll be okay,
even though I believe all of this to be true.
even though I believe it to be true.
Yeah, under the start of the eyebrow, letting go
Letting go
of all the fear
of all the fear
that I'm holding right now.
that I'm holding right now.
That's it, side of the eye. What colour needs to come in, Jan, to heal and release all fears and beliefs that are held right now in this space?
Lilac.
Lilac, brilliant. So bring in that lilac now. Go to the next point under the eye. That's it. And just bringing in that lilac. As that lilac comes in, healing and releasing all fears and worries that I won't take. If I take the time for myself, I'll be a burden, won't be loved, I'll be alone, I'll be selfish, and something bad will happen. Healing and releasing all fears and beliefs, all consequences of all fears and beliefs under the nose. As that lilac comes in, just healing and releasing. As that lilac's coming in, we're going to get onto the chin now, just bringing in some divine white light as well. And each of you can receive the different lilac and the divine white light. That's under the collarbone. Oh, I'm just stuck where I am.
I'm just stuck where I am.
I can't move forward
Can't move forward
and have a useful life
and have a useful life
and support people.
and support people.
So I won't exist.
I won't exist.
Under the arm. I'll be a burden to everyone else.
I'll be a burden to everyone else.
And they won't love me.
And they won't love me.
So I'll be all alone.
I'll be all alone.
That's the inside of the rest. I really don't deserve any time for myself.
I really don't deserve any time for myself.
It's really selfish.
It's really selfish.
And something bad might happen
Something bad might happen.
if I let down my guard.
I let down my guard.
Yeah, onto the thumb. Letting go of all onto the thumb now. That's it. Letting go of all the fear of the fear.
Letting go of all the fear of the fear.
Of letting go of all the fear.
Letting go of all the fear.
Oh, of letting go
Letting go
of all the fear
of all the fear
of being alone.
of being alone.
Next one down. Letting go of all the fear of the fear.
Letting go of all the fear of the fear.
Of letting go of all the fear.
Letting go of all the fear.
Of letting down my guard
Letting down my guard.
and taking time for myself.
And taking time for myself.
Next one down. Letting go of all the fear of the fear.
Letting go of all the fear of the fear.
Of letting go of all the fear.
Letting go of all the fear.
Of letting go
Letting go
of all the fear.
of all the fear.
Of taking time for myself.
Taking time for myself.
Yeah. Just reminding all of you, you're on mute so you can talk, you can speak out loud, and it's much preferable if you can tap and speak out loud, yeah? Whilst you're in the space. Okay. Next one down. Letting go of all the fear of the fear.
Letting go of all the fear of the fear.
Of letting go of all the fear.
Letting go of all the fear.
Of letting go
Letting go
of who I am.
of who I am.
Next one down. Letting go of all the fear of the fear.
Letting go of all the fear of the fear.
Of the fear.
of the fear,
Letting go
letting go
of all the fear
all the fear
of who I'll be
of who I'll be.
if I'm not on God.
I'm not on God.
So take a nice big breath. I want you all now to check in with yourselves. While I check in with Jan. Okay. Doing really well, Jan. What number's the fear that I won't make time for myself?
5,
That I won't take the time for myself?
sorry, 6,
6, brilliant. That life will deteriorate.
4,
I won't move forward.
4,
I won't have a useful life.
5,
I won't be able to support people.
5,
I won't exist.
4,
I'll be a burden to everyone else.
4,
But they won't love me.
3,
What messages are to receive about this 3?
they will love me.
They will, yes. Yeah, they will love me. Yeah. And knowing that they will love me regardless of what happens or what I do or how I change in any way. Knowing this to be your truth, can you release this 3 with love? Yes or no?
I can.
Yeah. So can you release it now with love?
I release that 3 with love because I know they will love me.
Yeah. Yeah. And what number is it now, Jan?
0,
It's 0. Fantastic. And what number is I'll be alone?
0,
What number is I don't deserve time for myself?
0,
What number is it selfish to take time for myself?
0, 2,
What number is something bad might happen if I'm not on guard or alert?
that's 2,
Now, knowing this 2 does not belong to you, can you hand it back with love? Yes or no?
it's hard.
So if you knew that by handing it back with love, you can't hurt or harm any others or yourself, and that by handing it back with love, you hand them back their power and you can reclaim yours. And this to be your truth, can you really hand back this 2 with love? Yes or no?
Yes.
Like when we know the full story.
Mm.
Yeah. And what number is it now?
0,
Well done, fantastic. Okay. So I'm just going to check in with where we start, some of the others. What number is I'll be a burden to everyone else?
0,
What number is I won't have a useful life?
0,
I won't be able to support people.
0,
I won't exist.
0,
That I won't move forward.
that feels like,
Well, if you can be tapping, okay?
yeah, it feels more,
The rest of you can be tapping.
feel kind of, if I find a level, it's okay to stay at that level and not necessarily being, but then I would be moving forward just by even doing the same thing every day.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
sometimes when we feel like we're not moving forward, it's just that we need to take breath, to and to get comfortable with what we're doing. So you are still moving forward, aren't you, like you said? So knowing that even when things don't feel like they're moving forward, by doing the things that support you, you are moving forward. Know this to be your truth. What number is I won't move forward?
0.
And what number is life will deteriorate?
0.
And what number is I won't make time for myself?
0.
And what number is I won't take time for myself?
0.
Oh, and what do you now believe to be true?
I am worthy and important enough, and I can't protect everyone. They have their own power.
They sure do. What's that like, Jan?
It's like a light's just come on. I've been told it. Yeah, I've been told it before. I just couldn't feel it.
And where do you feel it within you?
On my left side, under my rib.
Yeah. And what's it like on the left side under your rib?
There's a space there.
There's a space. And what's that space like?
It's light, and it's light coloured and light feeling, where it was dark and heavy before.
Oh. And is there space to bring something in?
Yeah.
And what is that space being created to bring in?
Self-love.
Oh, Jan, so bring in that self-love now. Let it flow in abundance. Oh, just notice what colour it is. It's that self-love. Sorry?
It's that lilac.
It's that lilac. What's that like, Jan?
It's lovely. It smells lovely and warm and nice.
Let it spread out beyond that space to fill you. So just while I check in with everybody else, you can just bask in that lilac self-love, knowing that you fully deserve it, that just remembering that I am worthy. I am enough. I can't protect everyone. They have their own power. So I'm going to come back to all of you now. Thank you for carrying on tapping. So I'd love to know what number you were to begin with and what number you are now. And I'm just going to unmute you all and then you can, there you go. So I'll start with Helen.
I was a 6.
Yeah. And what are you now?
And now I think I'm like a 1 or a 2.
Yay, that's brilliant. Well done, Helen. Thank you. Pam.
I was an 8 and now I'm a 5.
Ah, brilliant. Well done. That's really good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fab. Louise.
10, now 5.
Oh, fantastic. Good job. And Jane?
8 and now 3.
Well, hey, that was a big shift, wasn't it? That's lovely. And you know the power of 3s. Have you asked yourself what message there is to be received?
No.
So you could ask yourself that now. What message is there to receive about this 3? Yeah. And who else have we got? Fran.
Mine was an 8 and it's now a 4.
Oh, well done, all of you. See? Amazing, aren't you? Yeah, you got this tapping crack. You really have. Way. Oh, fantastic. Oh, love you all so much. Just so super proud of you all because, yeah, you've got it. Woo. Oh, what a way to end week 7. What a way to end week 7. Fantastic. Couldn't have wished for anything any better. Yeah. What's it, just as a very quick, what's it like now when you're tapping? Like Fran, I know you'll feel a lot more confident. So how are you feeling? Like we've had another session of tapping because I know you've kind of not quite got into it. What was it feeling like?
A little bit more comfortable this time. Like I was not forgetting completely. I mean, I was keeping my eye on you for the different thingos, but at least I knew where they were then. But yeah, it did feel a bit easier.
So do you think that might encourage you to have a go at home?
Yeah, I do feel like I'll have, but yeah, it definitely has done that tonight. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
So you can carry on working on what you were working on just now. Yeah. So you've got a starting point and you can just say, okay, so I don't know, say it's tomorrow afternoon, you think, oh, I've got 10 minutes, I'll do a bit of tapping or something. And you just check in, where am I with it now? And it might have gone up, or it might have even come down a little bit, or it might just be exactly the same. Yeah. Fantastic. So I know, Jane, you've been doing quite a bit, haven't you? And you're kind of feeling pretty good with it these days.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, when I was doing it just then, obviously hearing you talking with Jan, it was slightly, my head was trying to be nosy and see what you were saying, but so I went off slightly, but no, I still managed to. So,
fantastic. That's brilliant. And we will always be pulled off if we can hear someone, and especially as will always be something that resonates within us. Yeah. So we kind of, and the beauty of it is, as long as you've tuned in, and as long as and the tuning in is setting your attention and intention on what you're working on. Yeah. Because where our attention goes, sorry, is that right? I'm going to get that wrong. Anyway, no, there's a really nice phrase and it's gone.
But it was nice.
Attention goes, energy flows.
Right, attention goes.
Attention goes, energy flows. So as long as we've if our energy is going to be taken, like our attention might get taken somewhere else, as long as we've set the intention. Yeah. So you were going to ask something then, Jane?
Yeah, it was lovely. At one point you were on the letting go bit on the fingers, and I was on that point too. So then I really tuned in tightly to both of you because it sort of made it so much stronger.
Oh, fantastic. That's brilliant. Brilliant. Anyone else got anything to say before I say my final couple of things? Louise?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I do listen, but I felt an overwhelming sense of compassion for Jan. It was just, I thought it was just that it was compassion was just like, because I know how difficult it must have been to actually say it's okay to be on the hot seat. And Jan, well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, well done, Jan.
Absolutely. And all the years that Jan and I have been at Sun and Moon together, and I don't think, I'm really pleased that not only are you here, but you've put yourself in the hot seat.
Finally.
And what a result! It was worth waiting for, wasn't it, Jan?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. No, thank you.
well, you're so welcome. Thank you. Thank you for bringing your whole self here and for being so vulnerable and opening your heart to all of this. Yeah, it's wonderful. I'd like to catch up with you at the end, if that's okay, Jan. I just want to check in with you. Is that all right? So my final thing I'm going to say is I posted in the group some pictures, some photos of some loveliness that you can buy for yourselves or for other people. So there's the set of 6 postcards, which they're normal postcard size and they're plain on the back. So actually, you can actually post them to someone if you wanted, or you can keep them for yourself and just, I don't know, stick them on your desk, use as a bookmark. I've actually got 2 of them, 2 of the affirmations framed in like the little cubby hole next to the bathroom, and they look lovely. I think I might have a picture of that actually. I'll send you one if I can. And so they've got the postcard pack is 3 affirmations, and then the other one is like self-love and inquiry questions. Like another one is questions to ask myself each day, which is really nice. Maybe if you go out to work, or I don't know, you've got your work diary or something, to have it in there. Maybe, you know, you can just look at yourself and go, okay, where am I? You know, how am I looking after myself? What do I need right now? Type of thing. And some nice little reminders of just simple ways that we can take a break. Yeah. You know, like, oh, yeah, actually, I can just go walk in the park rather than walk down that road and just stop on that bench for 2 minutes. Or I'm going to stop and have a salt bath or a cup of tea, or, you know, really simple things that sometimes we don't think of, do we? Because we get so caught up in busy. Then there's the, oh yes, and so the postcards are they're normal. When I've sell them kind of holistic fairs and things like that, they're £8, but they're £6 for the set of 6 for you lovely ladies. There's my self-love spray, which now I know Jane's got one of these, and I'm pretty sure Helen's got one of these. Did you buy one at Southern Moon?
No, I think I might have just
You just squared one. I know Jane got one. So Jane, can you what's it smell like?
Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, I'm gonna have to do it now. I should have done.
Oh, go on.
Oh no, it's so sort of refreshing, and it's got lots of deep tones. It's sound like that woman that used to do the tasting of the wine or something. No, I want to say lavender, but it's not lavender. It's fresher than that. But no, it's beautiful. It's very uplifting, and it says on it, self-love spray, breathe and enjoy. And it says activated with I am enough, I am love, I am safe to love. And it's also used for space and energy clearing.
Thank you very much.
There we are.
You can be my sales lady anytime. And here's something we heard earlier. My glamorous assistant on my left. I feel like Paul Daniels is going to pop up any second.
Yes.
So yeah, so the self-love spray, you can use it as is activated with those beliefs and a couple more as well. And you can use it as kind of just as part of your daily practice. You know, you might give yourself a couple of squirts and just then sink into the heart space, and then just breathe in, and and even more power, recite those beliefs to yourself. But if you want like supercharged power, some mirror work using those beliefs, and you can do it as like a 21-day practice. So every day for 21 days, you just do the same thing, and you need to take you 5 minutes. So you can use it on that level, but it's also activated so that it balances the chakras and clears the aura at the same time. So I have a lot of fun when I make them. They only ever make them in small batches. So, like, I don't think I've ever made a batch bigger than 20. It's only like 10 or 20 I make at a time. And it's like I activate the water, I activate the oils, and then they get put together, and then all of that gets activated. And then the beliefs are activated with the pendulum. When I say activated, you can imprint beliefs and things into water. Well, that's what.
Yeah.
So, and this, in fact, this batch I've got now, the water that went into them is full moon water. And I had some of the water over. I had it in these 2 big glass bottles, and it was out in the full moon and the sun the next day. So it had like supercharged. And there was some left over. And I just thought, oh, I'm going to drink that for myself. I've never tasted water like it. Seriously, it was like so smooth and velvety. I was a bit like, oh my God, I want to be able to drink that again. Of course, it had gone. Do you know what I mean? Because there wasn't much left. It was divine, and they just feel so fabulous. And they're 100 mils, so they're quite big. So I use mine every day, several times a day. I use it between my clients to clear my space and to clear my energy, and I use it also just as a nice, because I love the smell of it. And when I get out of the shower of the morning, I give myself a little squirt. So I've got like first like boost of power energy. They're £15 each. And then in the other picture, and it comes with I'm going to sneeze. Something is really tickling my nose and my eyes today. I wonder what the heck it is. Whoever you are, please leave me alone. So then I've got some Palo Santo there, and I've also got some selenite. Now, Palo Santo is a hardwood, sacred hardwood from South America, and it's only ever, they don't fell the trees. So the trees that it comes from have to naturally fall, or the branches have to fall. And it's kind of not just any Tom, Dick or Harry that can go, and it's kind of one of those things where like the tradition runs in families and in villages, and the way it's harvested, and it has to be kept for X amount of time. And then, in fact, I've got mine here, and it smells divine. It smells amazing. These are my staples. Well, it's a bit of a dodgy match. In my energy, in addition to the energy clearing protocol, the spray and the Palo Santo. So can you see what I'm doing? I'm just, don't do this at home, folks. Don't do this without an adult supervision. Health and safety.
Fire extinguisher at the ready.
So you literally just, and then you see the way it's kind of smouldering a little bit, and you can see it's beautiful because it doesn't set off fire alarms, which is a fantastic thing. I've used it in hotel rooms and all kinds of places. It's super good if you're traveling around, because it takes, you can get matches or a lighter anywhere, can't you? I've never had any customs officers question what this is. So they don't think it's anything dodgy. And you can use it to clear your energy or the energy of the space around you. And it smells gorgeous. I even have one in the kitchen next to the cooker, and I don't always remember to do it, but a lot of the time I do. And like when I bring my shopping in, I give my shopping a nice little cleanse, because of course that food has taken on so much energy from other people and other things. And sometimes, if I'm kind of if I'm being a bit more mindful, I remember to do it over my meal, to kind of just assist in the process of receiving and digestion. And the selenite is really beautiful for clarity, for that, and for connection to source as well. Just really opening up the space. desk. Well, my two. Where's my other one? No, it's weird. I sit with this one when I'm in sessions. That's my just one of my clear quartz. This is the it's gorgeous, gorgeous. So the selenite and the Palo Santo, they're big chunky ones. The Palo Santo, they normally often come in like about a third of the size of what they are. So a chunky Palo Santo and a selenite, or 2 Palo Santo, is just £6. And that, even one of those, and I use it maybe several times a day, will last me, I don't know, could last me a month, maybe 6 weeks, something like that sort of thing. So if anyone's interested, ping me a message. I am going away to Spain on Saturday, so you need to hurry up if you do want something, because I need to post it. Or I need to leave it, if you're local, I need to leave it with someone, or you need to collect it or whatever. They're really lovely. They're so sweet. Oh, there's those little gift boxes as well, which are just £10. They're kind of end of a line, and I'm just wanting them to go to good homes. Yeah. They're like little boxes of calm, and the little card that's in it, it's got a QR code on the back, and that takes you to a free download that has got heart breathing and EFT. And so if you're gifting it to someone, actually you're gifting them kind of more than just the contents of the box. Yeah. So anyway, it's all there. I'm gonna shut up about it now. Message if you want something, and I'll sort it out for you. Okay. All right. So, okay, that's it. I've taken you way over time because I've gone blah, 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 about all these things. And I meant to say all of this last week, so we had a bit more time. And then the time just ran away. So, my lovelies, I will get the resource pack to you with all the various bits and pieces in. I will also, by separate email, send the outcome measures. And if you could do the outcome measures kind of end of the weekend or Monday, so it's just if you can, if that's possible, and then send those back. And then I'll see you next Tuesday. Yes. Oh, I did say one last thing, sorry. In last week's email is that think about, I know we're going to have Circle of Love you can all come to each month to continue your practice. Think about whether this group as a closed group, whether you would like to continue in some way for us to meet maybe once a month, something like that. So you've got some accountability and continuity. That's the word I wanted. So have a think about that. We can have a chat about it next week, yeah, and see what you all think and feel. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Most marvellous week.
Thanks.
Much
You
love
too.
to you all.
Thanks everyone. Thanks everyone.
Thank you. I'm going to stop recording.
Bye.
Dan, if you've got a minute, that'd be fab.